What is up, True Crime World? You're here with Lumina on the Wall. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bevy.
Hola.
Hey, Beck. Today's a good day. I got some good news.
You got good news?
Let's just jump into our sister chat before we even get the 411 on this case, because I'm excited to tell you this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, my son, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but he kind of has a little bit of a flat spot on his head.
That he does.
But it's really not very noticeable. It's not on the back of his head. It's on the left side of his head. And ever since he was a baby, he showed a strong preference for his left side. He'd always lay on that side, etc. And so I think that's probably what caused it from when he was an infant, was he was just always turning to the left. And of course, Crick and I noticed it, and we did turn him to the right. But it was just so often naturally he would go that way.
Yeah, he would look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you guys work on that so much.
Yeah, but then as he got older, I was there seems to be a little bit of a difference here, and from his left side of his head to the right. And then I started freaking out a little bit. So I took him into the pediatric rehabilitation center. And it turns out he had a mild case of God, I can't even say the word something. Okay.
What?
I know. I'd have to look it up right now. And I just don't have the energy for that. But it's jigga. I did not mean to say jigga. That was crazy. Anyways.
Guaranteed that's not what it is, but something along those lines.
It's basically that one side of his head has a flat spot. So there we go. All right. So, when I went in 3 weeks ago, there was she measures the circumference of his head and kind of gets the degree to which he has a flat spot for. And what you're looking for is 3.49 below that. So 3.49 and below. And Colson was at 4.32. And so that's obviously a little bit higher, but not to such a degree that they were super worried. So anyways, they had me doing all these exercises. And today when he went in, he was at 3.62.
Oh, Colson.
Yes.
Yes, little baby. Got your head normal again.
Yeah, he's just a little bit above normal. So we still have some work to do, but basically at normal range. So
yay.
Yeah.
Wow. Good job, Bevy.
Yeah.
Good job molding your child's head.
I know. It's kind of freaky because they have you do counter pressure. So it's you lay him on a hard surface. So I put a book behind his head, and I just get him to look to the right, the opposite of where his flat spot is. And apparently it's supposed to shape, put enough pressure on the right side that it makes the left side grow more.
Oh, interesting. Hey?
Yeah.
Something so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, good
Isn't
job,
that weird?
Bev.
I know.
That's really weird.
They recommended an hour a day, but I'm ain't nobody got time for that, seriously.
I was with you a couple of those times when you're I'm just trying to get him to look the other way. And it was hard.
Yeah.
To keep his attention for a long period of time.
Yeah. And then not only that, he gets tired of being on his back, right? He needs other things. So I only have him on his back so much throughout the day before he gets annoyed. So yeah, it was tough, but obviously it worked, doing 10, 20 minutes a day. Sometimes even only 5 if I'm honest. But anyways, I'm just proud. I'm happy that his head shape is kind of evening out there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do something about it, which I don't know, I think it depends on the severity of it, but if you don't, they could have potential issues and imbalances later on that can affect their performance in sports. I mean, probably just in life in general. And so it can have a negative impact on their future. So anyways.
Well, at least you have fixed his future in that regards.
Yeah, I just have a million trillion other ways I can fuck it up, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And I think about that a lot.
Oh, I know you do, actually.
Oh my God, I'm emotional. Let's get on with it. Let's just move on. I'm going to cry. I'm just feeling very upset. Okay, let's move on. I'm fragile right now.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was why is she hysterically laughing at my tears? This is kind of mean girl energy. But
no. It's It's just so funny. I don't know why.
I really don't either.
We're like talking about like such a good thing, you know, and you're just like, oh, I'm so emotional. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere.
Well, you know what? I think it's just as a mom, probably as a parent too, you just think about all the ways you're going to mess your child up. Like, think about our parents. We love them, but I think they did a number on us a little bit, right? Like,
Oh, Bev.
I feel like every kid almost thinks that. Like, nothing's perfect about anyone's childhood. And as much as you love your parents, they also can have a negative impact on you depending on, I don't know, your relationship with them. And like, I just never want to be that to Coulson. I want him to think of me and go, my mom was the best. I had a great mom. My childhood was great. And thinking that he might not think that, I don't know, you know, it just
scares
like
you.
Emotional.
Yeah,
you want to do right by your kids. So,
oh, for
anyways,
sure.
I
Well,
already
Bev,
told you I'm an emotional wreck today. So, Becky, take the mic, girl.
take the mic. Well,
Stop me.
all right. Well, I guess I'll take the mic by saying this case is really crazy. It touches on a lot of mental health, or a little bit of mental health. There is a little bit of chats of suggested suicide or talk of it. So if that really bothers you, be warned. But, you know, honestly, I can't tell you much without just spoiling this case. And then I've taken the mic and I'm handing it back to you, Bevy, because you're reading today, girl.
Yeah, I am. I'm going to tell you guys about the murder of Liese Dodd. So, Liese Dodd was born August 14th, 1999, in Alton, Illinois. So, she's quite a bit younger than both you and I, Rebecca. And Liese was a smart girl. She was ambitious. She loved animals. When she was 10, instead of getting presents for her birthday, she organized a fundraiser for a local animal shelter. So she's a sweet gal.
Yeah.
Pretty selfless. Now, eventually in 2017, she graduated from Jersey Community High School. And after that, she got a job at a Dairy Queen. It was said that she was saving up to go to school in the medical industry, just like her mom, Heidi. Now, fast forward to June 2022, and Liese was 22 years old, and she was 8 months pregnant. At the time, her whole family was really excited about her pregnancy and the arrival of baby girl, Bean, as they called her. Liese, who was close to her mother, Heidi, was lucky because her mom would check in on her daily, which I do have to say, as a pregnant woman, not that I am now, but I was. It is really nice to have those, check-ins. Pregnancy is hard. I'm sure pregnancy at a young age is tough as well. And to have a family member who cares enough to check in on you and make sure you're doing okay on a regular basis, like, nothing beats that.
Yeah, especially your mom.
Especially your mom.
Ma'am.
Yeah. For me, Becky, that was like you.
I'm your mom.
You're my mama. Yeah, you checked in on me all the time, and it was, like, special.
Oh. Yeah. Well, how could I not?
Yeah.
You're carrying...
Our baby? You're going to say
our baby. I was.
I was.
I wanted to know the daily details.
Exactly. Now,
although,
go ahead.
There were several times that I got TMI.
Oh, what? Too much information? Really?
Well, I mean, like, we're close, so it is what it is. But, you know, if you had told anyone else that, they might have not called you back.
Oh, you shush. What? Which details? Don't say them here.
Oh,
like, give me a look. Give me a sign on Zoom, Rebecca. Do something.
Oh,
she tried. Okay. Don't know what that was. Don't know what that was. Anyways, so guess.
I did try.
Yeah.
Take one guess. Take one guess.
Ooh. I feel like you're setting me up for failure here.
Well, if you guess what I'm actually saying, you might not want to say it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't want to even guess right now. Was it my flatulence?
Your what?
Flatulence?
No.
If anyone doesn't know, pregnant women fart a lot.
Oh God, we had to like stop our podcast so much.
For my toots?
Yeah. Remember? Or have you
know
forgotten?
What's funny? Now, this is going to make me sound disgusting, and I don't even give a shit, okay? Honestly, this might be weird, and I don't even give a shit because fuck it. But when you're pregnant, those farts feel good and amazing. They're big and relieving. And as a non-pregnant person who now does not have near as much flatulence, I kind of miss it.
You kind of miss it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I kind of miss having that like massive release.
Oh my God, Bevy. God, you are the best. You have like no shame. I love it.
I know.
But let's be real. Everyone has had a toot like that, and
Yeah.
I can't even call it a toot because it's a fucking like.
It's a fat.
It's a fat. It's a fat.
I was just channeling my inner oh, what's his name? Becky, the guy from Ted. Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I was channeling.
It's a fat.
It's a fucking fat.
I think you did it justice. That's for darn sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
Anyways, maybe that wasn't what was TMI about it, but I did share pretty much everything.
Yeah, you did. So
but
I definitely, the day that I get pregnant and have a baby, like I know what I'm getting in for.
Oh yeah.
There is nothing
that will surprise you.
Yep. Like I'm good.
You're good.
Yep. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes, informative.
Yeah, very. So, moving on. Back to Liese. So she's pregnant. She's 22. And at the time, she was on or involved in an on and off again relationship with 25-year-old DeAndre Holloway Jr., a fellow Alton area resident. And they started dating around 2020. Now, a little bit about DeAndre. He was a troubled man. He was also born in 1999. And as we said, he was raised in Alton as well. And he was known to struggle with his mental health. On top of that, he did have substance abuse issues. Now, as you can imagine, this was kind of a recipe for disaster when it came to his dating relationships. And it was no different with Liese. Their relationship quickly turned violent. And even though Liese had a job, both of them ended up being homeless and were living in a tent along a nearby lake. Heidi, Liese's mother, was really worried for her daughter.
Yeah, Bev. I don't know. Like, if I started dating a guy and all of a sudden he became homeless, I'm just saying, like, maybe this makes me sound bad, but I wouldn't date someone who decided to be homeless.
Oh, you're saying you need more stability than that?
Yeah, just like a little bit. Like, basic necessities. I crave that.
Yeah.
A roof over my head, food.
Important, right?
Yeah. I'm not, to be clear, I'm not being mean about anyone being homeless because I realize that there are some really unfortunate circumstances out there and a lot of mental health issues goes into homelessness. However, if I went from having a home and dating someone to all of a sudden not having a home, no way. I'm not going to stay with that person because they're showing me like so much instability. Like I see why her mom's worried because she wants so much better for her daughter than that. And it's like at that young age.
Yeah, you need your daughter to be safe, right?
Yeah, like I get that. And it's like.
And let's be real, living on the streets, it's not the safest place. Like it's just not.
No.
So yeah, I can understand her mom's position as well, Becky.
Yeah.
So obviously her mom knows that the relationship is troubled, and she regularly encouraged Liese to break up with DeAndre. However, what's unfortunate about many domestic violence situations is that they're kind of hard to break free from, hard to kind of see what's going on when you're in it. And so Liese did not leave DeAndre. And unfortunately, the arguments and the violence did escalate as their relationship progressed. Several other people, including Liese's boss, knew of and had seen that DeAndre was physically and mentally abusive towards Liese. She said Liese would come in with black eyes and bruises all over and would make up an excuse like her dog jumped and hit her face. And this happened on several occasions. One time, she had seen DeAndre punch Liese in the face while they argued in their car. And when her boss saw what happened, she said they had gotten in a fight, and eventually Liese confided in her boss about what was going on. Well, it's like, yeah, you saw him punch me. Like, you know
what
what
kind
I
of
mean?
story could you possibly make up at that time, right? Nothing.
Yeah. So obviously
saw
she
it.
kind of has to come clean about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just find this really hard to read. I mean, that's really sad, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, she's so young, has, like, everything going for her, and finds herself in this really, really volatile relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So young and, like, impressionable. And, like, I would say easier to control. You know, like a younger female who's still finding herself in the world. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Her mom's just probably dying inside watching this go down.
No doubt. Now, it does get worse because in July of 2021, Liese was in the hospital after DeAndre broke her nose and had given her 2 black eyes. And in September of that same year, things reached a head when Liese ended up staying at her mom's house for safety concerns and asked to switch some shifts around until she was settled. Now, this was a temporary solution, and it wasn't long before Liese continued to see DeAndre. Late in 2021, Liese and DeAndre then found out that they were pregnant and expecting a baby girl in the summer of 2022. And by January, the two of them had moved into an apartment on Bolivar Street. And as you can imagine, just because of this good news and the hopefulness in their living situation, their relationship still did not improve. And their neighbors reported hearing loud fights several times over the next 6 months. Now, on June 5th of 2022, DeAndre had texted one of his friends saying, "I feel like it's all the emotions I've ever put to the side just coming out now at once, for real." Then another one saying, "My cup filled up and now it's got to spill over." He also said, "I don't know how to healthily let out my emotions without snapping or crying because I'm too pissed to talk." And the last thing he had texted was, "I've always had to be the man even when I was a kid and was always put in grown man situations with so much pressure on me and even to this day still." So kind of what I gather from this is obviously he has an issue with emotional regulation. He said as much.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he's always been put in situations where he has not been like mature enough or had the skills to deal with them effectively. I don't know. I just think when you're put in situations that are, I want to say too advanced, but maybe you're not mature enough to be in. Like, you're not going to be coming at it from a standpoint of a reasonable, logical adult, right? You're going to use the skills that you have as a young person. And then I think if you use those so often, like, it just kind of gets reinforced as you get older, and you might never learn new skills, right? You just kind of have your set way of dealing with things.
Yeah, well, even when you look at the brain too, like our neurological pathways, if that's how you're forced to deal with situations as you get older, those neurological pathways are developed that way, right?
Yeah.
And to try and change that and build new pathways is really hard. But you might not have like the mental maturity to change that.
Totally.
Right? Because it can literally be something as simple as like, I'm just not going to yell at someone as soon as I get pissed off. I'm going to wait, take a walk, calm down.
Yeah.
You know?
See, but like even saying that, it's funny. It's like going and taking a walk to calm down is a healthy coping strategy for having big emotions, right? Like that is something that almost needs to be taught from a young age as to how you manage those emotions, right? And so it's interesting to hear him say that he had never learned how to do that or doesn't have those skills and he just snaps, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like almost aware and mature. But then I also think the more mature thing would be, or to do would be to go get help. If you can recognize this in yourself, and obviously you know that your actions are being, or having negative impact on someone that you supposedly love, like you should go get help for that, right?
I think the other factor here, besides just like not like having the awareness but not the capacity to change, but the fact that he is a drug user.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know, so it's like good that he's like a little introspective, but there's also many factors that would stop him from growing or changing.
Totally.
Right? So I think that's what's unfortunate, but it is interesting that he's so like aware.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like a hurt person, right? Pretty hurt person. Anyways, I just found it interesting.
Oh, for sure, Bevy.
So this is 2 days. He sends these texts to his friend about 2 days before he ends up going missing. So when he goes missing, everyone is pretty concerned. DeAndre's half-sister, PJ, added Liese on Facebook so that they could work together to find him. But no one knew where he was. And by 9 p.m., Liese still had not heard from him. And she was pretty stressed about his well-being. So she had texted her mom. Now, I think the best way to kind of show you guys these texts is for both Becky and I to each take on a role. So I'm going to be Liese, and Becky, if you're Heidi, okay? So.
Okay.
Yeah. So you think he'd just leave like this?
No, I don't think he would have left his clothes and stuff.
I think I got left.
If this is how it's meant to happen, at least it was not violent and you didn't get left. You've been set free.
I'm not seeing it that way yet.
Did he talk about anything going on he wanted to go do?
No, we just had a weird day. I had reacted badly to him that day, so it's even weirder.
What made it bad?
I broke a razor down and cut my leg because I told him I was just going to kill myself.
Why were you going to kill yourself?
Because I just can't get it right.
He's back yet?
No. The following morning, Liese texted her mom saying, still no, that he had not come home. And Liese was seen on the apartment security footage going through her usual morning routine. She went to the laundromat to clean her work clothes before work and came home. She had texted her mom saying, I still feel like he'll show up, but I can't tell. And knowing her daughter was worried, she said she could call to see if he was arrested or if her landlord, Joe, could check the security footage for anything weird. So she did. And all they could see was that at 6:24 p.m. on Tuesday, when he left the apartment, it showed DeAndre had gone with his uncle, who lived in St. Louis. But that was all. However, there was a bit of relief because around 8 p.m. on June 8th, when DeAndre's uncle called Liese and told her he was bringing him back shortly. Liese told her mom what was going on. And Heidi was really worried for her daughter, but Liese ended up going to pick up DeAndre herself. They were seen on security footage arriving home at 9:11 p.m. Just before Liese got out of the car, she had texted her mom, I'm trying to figure it out. At 10:49, Heidi messaged her daughter,
You okay?
And she got no reply. The following morning, Heidi reached out again at 8:44 a.m.
Everything okay?
And then at 12:30.
You okay?
Was still no reply. Heidi was very concerned and decided to go over to her daughter's apartment. And you can see her letting herself in on the security footage. And moments later, you see Heidi run out and she immediately calls 911. Heidi is distraught. The 911 operator says, "What's going on there?"
My daughter killed her.
What's going on there?
My girlfriend. I'm so sorry, my daughter. He chopped her head off.
Now, as you can imagine, police arrived very quickly after this 911 phone call. And I just have to say, Becky, that is so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
That
poor mother and poor Liese.
Yeah.
Like, she was decapitated.
I know, it's so unimaginable that someone could actually do that to someone. And on top of it, for a mother to find their child like that.
Oh.
It's fucked up.
I feel like we have to rewind a little bit because we just went through a whole hell of a lot. And I think we have to address some of it. Like, let's go back to the text between Liese and Heidi. Okay? Why was Liese trying to threaten to kill herself here? She seemed a lot like she was like, I'm the problem. It's me, you know? In that conversation with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we know of anything like more than that about what happened between them? Because I don't know.
I honestly couldn't find anything more than just like these texts between them. Myself, maybe there's more out there and I would love to hear about it, but I couldn't find any more.
So we're just left to speculate.
100%. Well, she cut her leg. We know that.
Okay.
The one thing that kind of stood out to me is kind of like how casual her mom was about it, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there had to have been a phone call in between some of those texts.
Yeah, or I heard someone speculate. Now, this is pure speculation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, that someone who responds... Okay, so for example, if you had sent me those texts, I would be like, uh-oh, I need to go get Bev right now. Maybe have her evaluated. Like, she does not talk like this. I've never heard this from her before. I'm so worried that she's going to really harm herself, right?
Right.
Or like go through with what she's saying. However, if you had maybe said this on different occasions.
Yeah, if it was more the norm.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I just heard someone, like I watched a podcast or listened to a podcast and they were speculating on that. And I said, oh my God, that actually sounds like it could be what is going on here. Because her mom is very kind of like, oh, why did you do that? Is everything okay? Like after she said what she said, you know, like she kind of just brushed it off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying her mom doesn't care at all, but what would make a mom kind of brush that off a little bit?
Yeah, like it's almost normalized, maybe. Is
Yeah.
the point you're trying to make, is maybe this behavior is normalized to the mother and she is just used to it at this point. Or it could be, like I said, there could have been a phone call in between there because it does kind of like break up in a weird way where you're like, surely they talked about that more before saying this other random thing.
Right.
So you think maybe there was a phone call? At least I think maybe there was. And then also it made me think of the dynamic between Liese and DeAndre. And it's like, oh, is she doing this to manipulate him? Because sometimes when you harm yourself, it is to manipulate your partner into staying or what have you, right? Like it can be used in that way.
Yeah.
Or is it like he has made her feel like she's such a problem that she almost is like, feels like self-harming is the answer, you know? Like I'm such a terrible person, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like there was just a lot there. I was like, whoa. Obviously very toxic relationship between the two of them.
Yep.
But yeah, so obviously mom is worried when he comes home because this whole fight between them, or the weird day that occurred, obviously shit went down. He leaves for a couple days and comes back. Maybe she's like, what's going to come next, right?
Exactly.
Oh, this is a lot. So let's begin to break down what the police saw at the crime scene. So when they go into Lisa's apartment, they truly walked into a very gruesome sight. It was pretty nightmarish. The detectives found the living room carpet soaked in blood with splatter all over. And lying there was Lisa's lifeless, pregnant body with no head. And the police could not find Lisa's head anywhere in the apartment. Now, earlier that morning, a construction worker had called the police. He was working and putting old drywall in the dumpster near the smoke shop when he stumbled upon a bloody knife and clothing. To this man, seeing this stuff was very concerning. So, of course, he makes a phone call to 911. And when the police arrived, they also found a white laundry basket with a severed head wrapped in material. And they collected all of this as evidence. At this point, they really didn't know anything other than it was a young female head. However, when Heidi had called the police after finding her daughter, police quickly put 2 and 2 together. That was like some weird wording. Can we just say that? You know, it's not like they're putting the 2 and 2 thoughts together. They're kind of like...
Oh my God.
I don't know why. I read it. I was like, oh. Like, they put 2 and 2 together in more ways than one.
I didn't even think of that when writing this, Bevy.
Classic,
Ooh.
Becky.
Oh my God.
Way to make it awkward.
You know, I didn't think anything until you were like, oh my God. Even when you read to me, I'm like, yeah.
Obviously.
They figured it out. Obviously, Bev.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, they know this was the body to the head. Now, after speaking with Heidi, the Alton police had a suspect right out of the gate. DeAndre Holloway. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And now they just had to find him. Seems to be a decently elusive man, so we'll see. So they look at the security footage from the night before. And just after 9 p.m., they see Lisa and DeAndre returning home together. The next sighting of either is at 11:57 p.m. DeAndre is seen, and he is seen leaving the apartment carrying a white laundry basket, wearing different clothes than when he arrived at the apartments. And in this video, he is wearing dark shoes and a face covering as well. He goes and stands beside Lisa's car, then goes back inside the apartment. He comes out again carrying the laundry basket, walks out of frame towards a nearby smoke shop where he is seen on CCTV footage walking towards the dumpster. And at 12:01 a.m., you can see the white laundry basket being thrown into the dumpster along with a handful of clothes. You then see DeAndre walk back to the apartment and go inside. 2 hours later, DeAndre is seen leaving the apartment in Lisa's car. After that point, detectives don't know where he had gone. So they called his family to see if they had seen or heard from him. That's when they learned that he had actually gone straight to his mother's house. Apparently, DeAndre had arrived around 2:30 that morning and woke the house by banging on the door. He was pacing and acting nervous. He stayed the night, and the following morning around 10:30 a.m., PJ, his sister, and her grandmother found DeAndre in the bathroom cutting his hair. PJ asked him why he was doing this. Because he had been growing his dreads for a couple of years and was known to be really proud of them and like them a lot, so she found him cutting them off really weird, which makes sense. When she asked him why he was doing this, he said, a fresh start. He was still acting really nervous though, and he asked his mom if he could shower there and if she had any clothes. She gave him gray sweatpants and PJ gave him a shirt. The clothes he had been wearing, he had taken them and put them outside in the garbage. Obviously, DeAndre's family has some questions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're pretty confused as to why he showed up driving Lisa's car without her. He also had other items of hers. He gave his grandma her ID and debit card, and he also gave her 2 keys. She asked where he got those keys, and he told her he had found them on the ground. She was concerned that Lisa was out there driving without her license, as if that's the worst thing that could potentially happen.
Yeah, right?
So innocent.
I know, poor Granny. Like, she's gonna get a ticket for having no license. Gotta
Exactly.
get it back to her.
And she even told DeAndre that she would get in touch with Lisa since he didn't seem too concerned about it. So when the police show up at the family home, they ask for the items, and obviously she gave them to the police. She had said that DeAndre didn't really give her an explanation and that he looked like he was in a daze. He had put a for sale sign up in Lisa's car, and around noon he left, telling his family he was going to cut some grass and was gone. However, DeAndre wasn't MIA for too long because the Gillespie police picked him up on a bicycle theft complaint. And when they brought him in, they recognized him as a suspect in Alton's murder case. So he thought he was just going to get away on a bike?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing?
I guess so.
He just probably saw a bike lying on someone's lawn, picked it up, and just started going.
I gotta move faster.
Right?
Yeah. Gotta leave the state on my bicycle. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So anyways, once he gets picked up by the popo, he refuses to identify himself once he was under arrest. But after transferring him to Macoupin County Jail and taking fingerprints, detectives confirmed the match to the murder warrant. In short order, he was charged in the Dodd homicide. The Madison County State's Attorney's Office immediately sought to build a strong case. They also held a press conference to announce the arrest, during which Chief Polito relayed the grim facts that Lisa had been decapitated and her head was in the dumpster. He expressed deep anger and sadness, saying Lisa and her unborn child had been brutally murdered. She was decapitated by a freaking savage monster. And yeah, he called Holloway a savage monster because, truthfully, that's kind of what he is. Like, that's so fucked up.
Yeah, it really is. But you know, it's not every day that you see, like, in a press conference, like, a professional speaking that way. I'm not denying it.
No, I get it. I mean, you probably don't see someone at a press conference speaking that way. It might not be the most professional candor, but it's also, like, not every day that someone savagely decapitates a pregnant woman.
And then throws her head in the dumpster.
Yeah, like, come on now. Like, that is... Like, if anything warrants someone to say savage monster when they should be maybe more professional, I think this might just be it, Becky. Like, damn.
I agree.
Well, this did lead to controversy because Holloway's parents later publicly rebuked him, saying it was unfair to dehumanize their son despite his crime. But at the time...
the only time I've heard... Sorry, Bev, to interrupt. The only time I've ever used the word rebuke is, like, when I'm praying or, like, anxious, and I'm like,
I rebuke Satan.
I rebuke you.
I rebuke Satan. I rebuke you.
I rebuke you in the name of the Lord.
Yeah, that's right.
What?
That's right. No, it's just like Mom always used to tell me to say that. Like if I was scared at night, because I would be really scared in my room. And she would be like, say, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of the Lord. You have no power over me, Satan. I rebuke you. Yeah. She did that to you too, hey? I will say it did give me some peace. It did work for me.
Yeah, I still use it to this day when I'm anxious or unhappy or sad. Say a little prayer. Rebuke the devil.
Yeah.
It makes me feel better too, Bev. It makes me feel better.
I get it. So, obviously, at the time, though, even though his parents rebuked this type of language, I feel like the chief was really just reflecting the community's horror, their shared horror at the time, over something so gruesome. Now, I think part of the family's frustration with the chief using this type of language was in part due to the fact that DeAndre did have a history of serious mental health problems. So they kind of see him more as the person and have a little bit more sympathy for him. And after his arrest, his family did go public with the details. His stepfather, Christopher Hawk, said DeAndre had heard 3 voices talking to him for years. One of those voices, he explained, was an evil figure he called Ruth, who told him bad things. And his mother, Carla Hawk, confirmed the family had been trying to get him help for years, but have always been denied because the system says they can't force a person his age to get help. She added with frustration that they sought medication and therapy for him unsuccessfully. Their pleas to the system were constantly rebuffed as DeAndre was legally an adult.
So, and what I kind of gather from that is that although his family was trying to help him, it seemed like because of his mental state, made it quite challenging to get him help.
Yeah.
On top of any challenges from the legal, or not the legal, but the system, he was a little bit challenging to just go along with it.
Yeah. He did not wish to get help himself. And as we know, with any addict, or anyone struggling with mental health or what have you, like, they have to be the one to initiate getting help for themselves. Like, you can't force anyone into doing anything. So you kind of have to wait till that person is ready to do it themselves. And this background of DeAndre ended up coming up repeatedly in interviews. DeAndre's stepfather was pleading for understanding, saying what he did was savage, what he did was monstrous. He is not a monster. Even as they condemned the act, the family insisted the justice system had failed DeAndre. They revealed DeAndre had at one point refused medication and even threatened his own mother and sister in 2021, leading to a temporary restraining order, but authorities could not force him into treatment. In a statement uploaded to social media after the arrest, Christopher Hawk expressed his pain and said, "I cannot imagine what Liese's family must be going through. I'm so sorry. I am a million times sorry." Now, I can understand the families, like DeAndre's family, and the pain that they are going through because of the fact that they knew he was struggling, and that they felt like the system failed him or what have you. And I do understand, like, why that would be painful for them.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I really don't think that it's the legal system's responsibility to get their son help. And I don't even fully think it's their responsibility, right? Like, he has to take accountability for not getting help overall. Mm-hmm. Like, for his addiction, for his emotional, or lack of emotional control, right? Like, he has to be the person that initiates that and takes accountability and responsibility ultimately. So I can see why it's painful for them that they knew all this was going on and they knew he wasn't in a good place. And then, he does something heinous and now his life is basically over. I can understand the sadness in that, truly. But what he did to Liese is infinitely worse. Like, he ended her life, like, in the most horrific way. And if he hasn't taken accountability so far, he sure as shit should now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Madison County Coroner's Office conducted the autopsy, and they confirmed Liese's cause of death was multiple neck and head wounds. Not shocking. Yeah, ugh. Yeah. Now, police interviewed dozens of neighbors and acquaintances, And on the night of the murder, a neighbor had heard the two arguing and had heard loud thumping that shook the apartments. They were scared, but they were used to the two fighting and hearing things getting smashed around and having their apartment shake. Although this time it did seem a little bit more intense, they assumed that it was resolved when things got quiet. So they didn't end up calling the police.
And how could they have known truly what was going on and, like, you know, the bloody mess that was being made, you know?
Right. I think that's probably one of the last things you assume is happening.
100%.
So
it's like, even if you hear like a gunshot go off, well, I honestly, anytime I hear that sound, I automatically assume it's fireworks.
Yeah, or like a car backfiring or something, right? You're like,
yeah,
surely
I never even
it could not be a gunshot.
Yeah, no one shoots guns just out of nowhere.
Right?
But it actually happens all the time, right? But like our minds, the average mind, I think, is, you know, assumes a more innocent, well, outcome of everything when you hear something that's a little suspicious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, like, might not have helped. It's not like he stabbed her once somewhere and she was bleeding out, and maybe if the police arrived sooner, like, things could have been different. Like, maybe if they had called right at the beginning of the fighting or whatever, but, like, what he did, like, it's not, like, the response time of the police wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah, probably not at all.
Now, after DeAndre's arrest, Holloway underwent court-ordered psychiatric evaluations because of his fragile mental health. In February 2023, a judge found him unfit to stand trial due to his mental state, and he was sent to an Illinois Department of Human Services facility for treatment. Months later, doctors deemed him improved enough to return and face charges. By late 2024, he was considered competent and entered a guilty plea. In short, Holloway's mental health problems caused significant delays in the case, but ultimately did not stop the judicial process. And he was not found, like, insane or anything like that. So Holloway was quickly indicted on a slew of charges. 2 counts of first-degree murder for Liese and the unborn baby. 2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child. Dismembering a human body. A Class X felony for the decapitation, concealment of a homicidal death, and related vehicle offenses. In other words, virtually every legal charge related to the murder and cover-up was brought against him. The penalties he faced were severe. Illinois law could put him away for life, especially with separate counts for the baby, if convicted on everything. Now, if any of you were wondering, I did say that a Class X felony was levied against DeAndre for dismembering a human body. And what that is basically the most serious felony classification in Illinois following a murder. And with it comes its own mandatory minimum sentence of 6 to 30 years in prison. So on top of the 2 counts of murder that he is facing, he is levied this, and the minimum sentence is pretty severe. So even if he was just, like, charged of that, they could give him 30 years in prison.
Right.
I mean, it is a range from 6 to 30, but, like, he could almost spend, like, a long term in prison just for that alone. So pretty crazy. So obviously he was indicted on a lot of shit, but when it came to the practical application of his charges in terms of prosecuting him, it did end up changing a little bit, because in 2022, the Illinois Supreme Court ruled that an unborn child cannot be counted as a separate murder victim for purposes of sentencing. This meant prosecutors could not simply just tack on a second life sentence for the fetus. Instead, they had to file it as an additional count of an intentional homicide of an unborn child. So I guess the good side of that is that they could really stack a bunch of different sentences on and have him get charged with multiple different things so that ultimately justice would get served and that he could potentially be found guilty of multiple things, therefore increasing his sentence, right? But either way, he has a lot of charges against him, and after multiple delays, the fitness hearings, competency, restoration, etc., the case finally moved to resolution in late 2024. And seeing that there was undeniable evidence against him, including his DNA, Liese's DNA on the murder weapon, CCTV footage, neighbor testimony, and his family's statements, on December 16th, 2024, Holloway pled guilty to 3 key counts: first-degree murder, intentional homicide of an unborn child, and concealment of a homicidal death. And obviously, as we know, when it comes to guilty pleas, it kind of spares the family from going through the full trial and hearing all of the details of it. And I think that's a blessing in this case. The mom has already seen enough. Like, she found her daughter like that. And I think it would be truly horrific to have to, go through all the details of that.
Agreed. Ugh, that would be the worst.
Yeah. And at the January 17th, 2025 sentencing hearing, Associate Judge Neil Schroeder imposed the agreed-upon sentence, 60 years in prison. The term was explained as 30 years for Liese's murder, 20 years for the baby's death, and 10 years for covering up the homicide, all to run consecutively. And by law, Holloway must serve 100% of the 30-year murder term and at least 85% of the 20-year term, so at least 17 years of that one. And in effect, Holloway will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Even if he lived to 85, he'd still have years to go. So.
Right. Indefinitely in prison.
Yes. And at sentencing, the courtroom was packed with Liese's family and supporters. Her mom addressed the court. She told Holloway that she did not hate him, but was devastated. She pointed out how he had once told her he hated being in the apartment, a chilling pre-echo, and now she wished him 60 years of hating prison. The family's victim impact statement was heartfelt. Heidi said the loss has condemned her to a life sentence without her daughter's love, describing Liese as beautiful, loving, and sassy, and saying this doesn't have to happen. I actually think that that's a pretty, I think it's an impactful way to say it, is that the mom was condemned to a life sentence without her daughter. I don't know. I like the way that sounds because it really just explains the sadness of it all. You know what I mean? This is why murderers get sentenced to life in prison. That right
because
there.
their families, a lifetime of sadness and pain.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. So, of course, no one testified against Holloway in a cross-examination because there was no trial. But the press report captured family and official statements. State's Attorney Tom Hain emphasized the thoroughness of the investigation and thanked all agencies involved. In his own statement, Hain said the guilty plea has ended the continued angst and uncertainty for Liese's loved ones. He acknowledged the case's difficulty, praising the family's strength, courage, and resiliency in seeing it through. Now, to quote Liese's own mom one last time, she said, "My daughter should be here raising her toddler." And those words are just pretty devastating reminder about the tragic loss of this case. But like many murder cases, Becky, people's families are resilient and they do find ways to cope with the loss of their loved ones. And in this case, the Dodd family had set up a GoFundMe that raised about $16,000 to help with funeral and medical bills after Liese's death. In a moving gesture, after covering Liese's funeral costs, the family donated $5,000 to a domestic violence outreach center and $2,000 to the local Humane Society. which were both causes that had meant something to Liese.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Her mom, Heidi, frequently emphasized that Liese was someone destined for great things and that the family wanted Liese to be remembered positively even after her tragic end.
Well, of course they did, you know? She definitely seemed like a very special girl and was loved. Like, she was loved.
She was so young at the time of her passing and murder.
Yeah. This case is really tough. We don't really even know what happened leading, like what the argument was about or how this actually happened. And I think that must be really hard for the family to be like, obviously it was a bad relationship and they shouldn't have been together, but they don't also have any answers, like what went down.
Yeah, what was the motive?
Yeah, did he have a mental break in that moment? Like,
was it about the abuse and the control? Was it like fear of bringing new life into this world? Or like, what was it?
What was it? I don't know.
Not that it would really make the family feel any better knowing the motive, but
I would like to know if I was her family.
Yeah.
But also, like we've talked about so many times, like in these relationships with domestic violence, this is often an outcome. Was she trying to leave him? So, unfortunately, it is an all too common outcome. And that makes me sad.
I guess it's just the one thing that we can take away from this is just to continue to reiterate the dangers of domestic violence. Because, as you said, this can be a real outcome. So if you are struggling in a domestic violence situation, I would say reach out to somebody to get help. There are hotlines that you can access and gain access to someone who could help you, maybe make a plan to leave or give you support. So, I don't know, if you find yourself in this situation, we would just encourage you to reach out.
Yeah, take those steps. Because you just never know how it will escalate, right?
Yeah, so true. Well, Becky, this is a very sad case and very gruesome. So, thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing, Bev.
I love you hugely.
Love you too, Bev.
And just your weekly reminder to download our weekly episodes, follow us on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever streaming platform you listen to us on, and give us a follow on our social medias. You can find us at Luminol on the Wall. Can't wait till next week.